INFJs don't make decisions loudly. They don't debate every option out loud. They don't announce their reasoning. They don't rush toward conclusions. In fact, most people never notice when an INFJ is making a decision at all. From the outside, it looks effortless. Sometimes it looks sudden. Sometimes it looks delayed. But inside, an INFJ is moving through a complex, layered process that blends intuition, ethics, emotion, and long-term vision. INFJs don't just ask, "What should I do?" They ask, "What does this choice mean?" Today, we're exploring the INFJ decision-making process, the quiet mental journey that happens beneath the surface, long before a final choice is ever revealed. Decision-making for an INFJ is not about speed. It's about alignment. INFJs want their choices to make sense not just logically, but emotionally, ethically, and symbolically. They don't separate decisions from identity. A choice is never just a choice. It's an extension of who they are. This is why INFJs are often misunderstood as indecisive, overly cautious, or mysterious. In reality, they are deeply intentional. Let's begin with how the INFJ mind approaches decisions from the very first moment. 1. INFJs begin with intuition, not logic. The INFJ decision-making process always begins quietly, with intuition. Before an INFJ consciously weighs pros and cons, something subtle happens. They sense a feeling, an inner signal, a sense of alignment or resistance. This intuition doesn't arrive as words. It arrives as comfort or discomfort, calm or tension, a feeling of "this fits" or "this doesn't." INFJs often can't explain this feeling immediately. They just know something is off or right. To others, this seems vague. To an INFJ, it's foundational. Logic comes later, but intuition sets the direction. 2. INFJs instantly simulate the future. Once intuition signals interest or concern, the INFJ mind moves forward in time. They imagine outcomes, not just best-case scenarios, but emotional consequences. They ask internally, "How will this affect me long-term? How will it affect others? What kind of future does this choice create?" INFJs don't think in snapshots. They think in timelines. They visualize how a decision will unfold over weeks, months, or even years. This future simulation happens automatically, often unconsciously, and it's one of the main reasons INFJs hesitate while others act quickly. They're already living with the consequences, mentally. 3. INFJs filter every decision through values. For INFJs, no decision is neutral. Every choice passes through an internal value system. They ask, "Is this aligned with who I am? Does this respect my integrity? Does this harm anyone emotionally? Can I live with the impact of this choice?" This is why INFJs may reject opportunities that seem perfect on paper. Something may offer success, status, or comfort. But if it violates their values, the answer is no. Others may call this idealism. INFJs call it self-respect. Their values are not preferences. They are foundations. 4. INFJs feel the emotional weight of each option. INFJs don't evaluate choices abstractly. They feel them. Each option carries emotional weight. They sense guilt, relief, responsibility, anticipated regret. They imagine how choosing one path means letting go of another. They mourn possibilities before they disappear. This emotional awareness makes decision-making heavier for INFJs. But it also makes it more humane. They understand that choices affect real people, including themselves. 5. INFJs need time, even when the answer is clear. INFJs often know the right decision early, but they don't act immediately. Why? Because clarity doesn't equal readiness. INFJs need time to emotionally accept the decision, prepare for its consequences, align their inner world with the outcome. From the outside, this looks like delay. Inside, it's integration. INFJs don't want to decide against themselves. They want to move forward without inner resistance. 6. INFJs struggle when pressured to decide. Pressure disrupts the INFJ process. When rushed, INFJs feel disconnected from intuition. Their internal clarity becomes clouded. This is why they dislike ultimatums, deadlines, forced choices. Under pressure, INFJs may withdraw, shut down, make a decision they later regret. They need psychological space to decide well, not because they're weak, but because depth requires room. 7. INFJs decide quietly, then act decisively. One of the most misunderstood INFJ traits is this. They seem indecisive, until suddenly, they're not. Once an INFJ reaches internal alignment, the decision becomes final. There is no second guessing, no wavering, no external validation needed. When INFJs decide, they commit fully. This can surprise people. It feels sudden. But in truth, the decision has been forming quietly for a long time. 8. Why INFJs rarely explain their decisions. INFJs often don't explain their choices in detail. Not because they can't, but because explanation feels insufficient. How do you explain intuition, values, emotional foresight? They know that long explanations may confuse others or invite debate. So they say less. They trust their inner clarity. This silence can be misinterpreted as secrecy or detachment. But it's actually confidence, quiet confidence. INFJs don't make decisions lightly. They carry them, feel them, live with them before choosing them. Their decision-making process is slow, deep, and intentional. And while the world may not always understand it, the INFJ does. That inner alignment is what matters most. If this video felt familiar, if it described a process you've lived but never explained, you're not alone. There are others who decide the way you do, who feel choices deeply, who honor alignment over speed. If you want more calm, psychology-based content that understands the INFJ mind beyond stereotypes, consider subscribing. Because not all decisions are loud. Some of the most meaningful ones are made in silence.